Detroit's Renaissance Center, at one time a symbol of prosperity and growth.
Investors group and honored guests, we're going to make this city a viable, going, great city that it can be and has been, and I'm sure will be in the future.
Now, just a shell of what it used to be. Floors of office space sit empty. Two of the building's towers will be demolished while the tallest one stays intact. As of this recording, there's no timeline as to the demolition. But one thing we know for sure, when these towers are torn down, a dark secret could be swept away forever.
This is the actual location where the mob buried him at.
Michael Yarbrough was just 18 years old when he came to Detroit looking for work. What he saw on July 30th, 1975, would go on to haunt him for the next 50 years. He had just graduated high school and had his first son, so he was excited to start a new chapter of his life. His sister lived in the big city and told him there were plenty of opportunities, including at a building that was under construction known as the Renaissance Center. Michael went looking for the employment agency Clean America. When he talked to the security guard to get directions, he was told to go down an escalator and then take a right. The Renaissance Center is a big building. It takes up 5,552,000 square feet. Michael took a wrong turn and suddenly found himself facing a construction zone. There was thick plastic hanging up and a sign that read "Authorized Personnel Only." But a loud noise caught his attention. It was the sound of someone screaming for help. Michael thought maybe a construction worker had been hurt or something, so he sprang to action. He pulled aside the thick plastic sheet and found himself facing a steep concrete slope. When he reached the bottom, a thick cloud of dust hung in the air. There were 4 pillars about 8 feet tall, one of them still waiting to be filled with cement. There was a large group of men surrounding that pillar.
I didn't know they were the mob at the time. I thought they were just some men in black suits, you know. And the guy in the middle, he had on black shoes, black pants, and looked like a black shirt that matched his pants. And he didn't have any shades on. He was a white guy. His hair was kind of messed up. That's about all I could see about him. And behind them was a maroon colored Mercury Marquise, a 1975 Mercury Marquise, with his trunk up and his lights on. And the driver's side door was open, and this fat, chubby guy, white guy, was sitting behind the wheel. And I noticed he had sideburns coming down about here and the wide collar shirt that we used to wear back in the 70s. Yeah. And to their left, there was a construction worker. He had the hard hat on, and he had this thing that had a cord on it that was hammering on this concrete cement, trying to drown the guy out still that was hollering for help. And back to their right was this concrete cement truck. It was turning real slow, and it had its gurney coming down from the front all the way down on the right side to that hole where they were standing there with this man in the middle. So while he was screaming for help, I saw the 2 guys push him in the hole real fast, and then the concrete cement truck, the ball started turning real fast, and the concrete cement started gushing down the gurney until they buried this guy alive. So while I was looking at this, another guy with the same suit, black suit, black tie, white shirt, John Belushi style shades, black shoes, walked up to me. He had this dark colored hair. He was a white guy. And he took his John Belushi shades off, and he pointed at me and he said, "You better keep moving or you're going to be next." So he opened his coat up and he showed me his gun. He had the shoulder strap type of holster on. He showed me his gun and he said, "You better keep moving or you're going to be next." So I immediately threw my hands up. I said, "Man, you ain't got to worry about me. I'm out of here."
Michael started walking away, but looked over his shoulder and noticed a man coming after him at full force, so he bolted. Michael was an active teenager who played basketball and ran track, so he was able to pick up a quick pace, and the older man was no match for his speed.
So we ended up at Tower 400, which is that tower right there. It's Tower 400. And I saw this men's and women's restroom, and I ran into the men's restroom, and got on the first stall I saw, and I was in there shaking like Don Knotts on top of the toilet, and I was using the bathroom on myself. I was so scared. And they had this little thing underneath the stall where you could see underneath there about maybe 4 inches, maybe 5 inches tall. You could see people coming in the front door there. I saw his black shoes walk into the bathroom door, and he just stood there about maybe 3 seconds, and then he just turned around and walked away. I was like, wow, all he had to do was kick the door in and shoot me. I knew he had a gun. So I stood there for a minute on the toilet. I said, wow, he didn't shoot me. So I got the courage enough to come outside to look to my right. I looked to my left to see was he still out there. I said, thank God he wasn't. So when I went out in the hallway, I looked down to the east of the building out of Tower 300, and I saw this door way down the hallway, maybe about 20 feet down. I went down there, I opened the door, and when I opened the door, it was the area, the dirt area where the concrete cement truck was, and the people that was holding the man in the middle, but the maroon colored car was not there.
Yeah.
So I immediately ran back into the building. I ran all the way over to Tower 400 on Atwater. I went outside, and when I went outside and looked toward the Detroit River right there, I saw that maroon colored car coming around Tower 400 with its lights on real slow. So I got scared again and ran back in the building in Tower 100, got on the toilet for about 5 minutes. And, something told me to just go on out and see if I could find my 1970 Firebird, green Firebird Pontiac. And I couldn't find where I had parked it at. I parked it over by the Windsor Canadian Tunnel. And I got in my car. I went back to Eastern Michigan, where my brother and his wife and my sister was. And I told them about it. And they said, Mike, if I were you, I'd leave that alone, man. That's the mob, man. They'll kill you and our whole family. So I didn't say anything for like 27 years. And then finally, when I did go to the Detroit FBI and told them about it, they haven't done anything. It's been 23 years now, and the FBI has not done anything. They don't take me seriously at all.
For 5 decades, the FBI has conducted an extraordinary series of searches in an effort to find Jimmy Hoffa's remains. They've dug up backyards, a horse farm. They searched the old Pontiac Silverdome. They've even gone so far as to go to New Jersey after a deathbed confession pointed them to the Pulaski Skyway. They have excavated just about every tip you could think of. However, the Renaissance Center still seems to be untouched.
So that's pretty much everything that happened. I've been trying to get them to go in that building ever since November of 2002. It's 23 years ago. This case could have been solved a long time ago had they just took me seriously and come in here and just did a ground penetration scan and do some. They got all kind of technology now. They can drill in there for DNA, and that's what we intend on doing real soon. I'm trying to get law enforcement to go around the FBI since they're not taking me seriously and try to get an agency that will.
So they're going to be tearing part of the building down soon, too.
Yeah, that, to my understanding, they're tearing Tower 300 down and Tower 400 down. I won't tell you why, but if they do that, they're going to disturb all the evidence in Tower 300. And I'm trying to get this thing done before they start going in there bulldozing and tearing it down.
So what's your biggest concern with them tearing it down? That it's basically just going to get lost in the shuffle?
I think
just
so.
Bulldoze it all away?
I think so, because they're going to tear it all the way down to the basement level.
Yeah.
Bottom of the pillars. All those pillars are going to get destroyed with his remains in it. And I hope they don't do that.
Would you mind showing us inside where it's at?
Yeah, I'd be glad, more than happy to. Come on, let's go. This is the actual location where the mob buried him at. And I'm getting ready to show you the hard hat that's buried inside the pillar on the side of his grave. And I'm going to show you, we're going to stand right on top of his grave.
Oh, wow.
From here down, he's about 8 feet down. So when we get ready to go find him with the ground penetration, we're going to go through that door right there. And there's a stairwell around the pillar. And I'm going to put law enforcement 2 to 3 feet from his body.
Yeah.
So it won't have a problem finding it.
Right. There won't be any other things in there disrupting it.
Right. But you see, the equipment won't go 8 feet deep. So I got to get them at least 3 to 4 feet. So by us going through that door and going around that pillar, we have a proper platform where they can set up their equipment and drill into the pillar and actually find somebody. You know, I'm 100% sure they're gonna find Hoffa in that pillar.
So,
He's on top of the rebar. Each tier has rebar on the bottom of it. When they pushed him in, he fell right on the rebar, and the concrete cement came right on top of him, pinned him down on the rebar. So when they do the ground penetration scan, as long as they scan above the rebar, it won't interfere with the bubble where his body remains are.
was he alive when he went in there?
Yeah, he was alive. He was not shot. He was not hit with a hammer. Nobody was choking him. He was not hit with a shovel like you hear in the news. He was just screaming to the top of his voice for dear life. And they pushed him in the hole. It was like a surprise. He thought he was going to a meeting. And they was dressed up all in black like they was going to a meeting. You know, Chucky O'Brien convinced him to get into the car, his surrogate son. And by Chucky being in this brand new maroon colored Mercury Marquise, 1975, anybody in their right mind would say, well, this is legit. You know, this is a legit meeting. He's got the new car. He got my surrogate son driving, and he got the people that's gonna meet with us. You know.
So where's the hard hat location at?
Okay, let's take you right over here to see the hard hat. I hope you got a good light in the camera, because you got to zoom in through this glass. It's approximately right down there stuck. You're almost there. Anyway, I can shoot you pictures of it if that would help. It's more to your right. You're right there. See,
That right
the
there?
electrical box, that's the door. The hard hat is in that light right there. It's right in there. That's the hard hat. That's the construction worker's hard hat. It's got AB on the back of it. Alligator bait. That's what the AB stands for. We used to wear those hard hats back in the 70s. AB. Yeah, so if you go through that door right there, that'll take you around. It's a stairwell that goes around the pillar all the way to the basement level. A lot of the public they would let the public go in there, but now you got to scan your way in. See, they got a scanner there. You can't just walk down there no more. I don't know. If you go down there, you see my name in there, R.I.P. Hoffa, and all of that from way back in the 80s, you know. You see some oily gloves on the wall where some of the construction workers tried to leave a marker where he's buried at. But anyway, as you come around here, I'm going to take you where the pillar is at, the top of the pillar.
Yeah.
As you notice, you see that line right there on the floor? That's the top of the pillar. It's like a circumference of a circle. This is the whole, it's like a swimming pool, the top of a swimming pool. This is the whole top of, none of these walls were here when they buried it. But it's a total circle all the way around. You got elevators going up and down by his grave every day. He's buried right here. Hoffa's buried right here. This is where they pushed him in the hole. They were standing there holding him by the arms, and then they pushed him in the hole, and that's when the concrete cement truck, which was right here, the gurney, came down, and it just poured all the concrete cement on top of it. And the maroon colored Mercury Marquise was sitting over here to their left with the trunk up and his lights on. And the fat chubby guy had the door open, found out that was Chucky O'Brien later. And I later found out that the guy that walked up to me and threatened me and said, you better keep moving, you're gonna be next. That was Thomas Andretta. He's an associate of the Genovese crime family out of New Jersey. And he scared the hell out of me.
Understandable.
I mean, his hazel eyes, he took his glasses off and looked me directly in the eyes. And you could actually see that he's killed several people in his eyes.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know he was that dangerous, but come to find out he was a hitman for the Genovese crime family. And the reason why he didn't kill me is because I talked to Michael Francis. He's a former boss of the Colombo crime family in New York. And Mike told me this year, or actually for the last 2 years, that they wouldn't have killed me, because if they had killed me, then the boss would have killed them. And the person who called the hit on Jimmy Hoffa was Fat Tony Salerno. I don't know if you know Anthony Fat Tony Salerno.
Yeah,
but he was in cahoots with Philadelphia Buffalino, mob boss down in Philadelphia. And Frank Sheeran was there, and they tried to get Frank to talk Hoffa in the back and down, just take his pension and go home, enjoy his family, but he was so bullheaded, he wanted to run, and he said, forget Nixon, Nixon told him don't run until 1980, but Hoffa wanted to run in 1976 so he could get that fame and glory, spirit of 1776, along with everybody else.
Right.
Because we were celebrating the bicentennial year the next year, and he knew that. But he ended up being here on the bicentennial day. And it's amazing how they put him as a Teamster Union president, with the union, and put him in Henry Ford II's building, which has the UAW union. So I guess they're all joining hands, the Teamsters and the UAW, and they're all having a celebration of this high-powered guy that could have shut the whole country down in the drop of a hat, It's amazing. Why they put him in the cornerstone? This is the cornerstone of the building. I don't know why they put him in the cornerstone, but every building has a cornerstone. Every house has a cornerstone, the master bedroom. And I guess they was trying to let people know that he was the head of the organization, so why not put him in the cornerstone of the building? I can't think of anything else.
It's sort of symbolic here.
Yeah, it's kind of symbolic, like it represents the head of the house. Like Jesus is the cornerstone of the church. Hoffa is the cornerstone of the Renaissance Center.
Yeah, that's so crazy. And seeing the hard hat was so ominous.
Ain't that eerie?
Yeah.
That scared the hell out of me. Excuse my language.
You're good.
But I'm still terrified from seeing it because of the guy that was over here trying to drown the man out, which I found out was Hoffa. I'm like, did he put that hard hat there to remember this is where Hoffa was buried, or did they bury him in the other pillar over there because he saw too much? Maybe, I don't know. But I'm thinking that Hoffa's not the only person that's buried in this building. And that could be one of the reasons why they want to tear it down, but I know other reasons why they want to tear it down, but I don't want to say nothing because the public shouldn't know.
Memory is a funny thing. As we get older, many of our memories fade. You're probably not going to remember every kid in your 5th grade class. You probably don't remember what you got for Christmas when you were 12, and many of us probably don't even remember what we had for dinner the night before last. But when something really happens and just changes your life, it can stick. Memories will sometimes play over and over again in your head like a movie that you can't shut off. And that's the life that Michael Yarbrough has had to live for the past 50 years. And again, we don't know when the Renaissance Centers will be demolished, but it's worth taking a good look around to see if we can bring some closure to the Hoffa family, who's had to live with this mystery all this time, as well as all the countless lives that Jimmy Hoffa touched during his life as a union leader and a public figure. If you want to learn some of the other theories about what happened to Hoffa, I'll link another video that I made about a year ago within this video. As always, thank you for watching and have a grave day.